It's the G-rated version today.
Well, just said $100 if you ask an explosion question.
But you
Here
have an unusually large number of players. You've been in the league for 25 years. You got a lot of players this year on your team with like minimal job security or coming up on a contract. Do you think that contributed to the massive buy-in that you've gotten from all parts of your roster? This team seems to be very, very committed to winning first, and teams that win, their players are usually rewarded.
Yeah, that's it's always a fine line there when you do have as many players, playing on like 1-year deals and of course I've sat in those seats before and as a player and everybody wants to play obviously, and everybody wants to have the next contract or get the next contract, but this is one of the things another one of the things that's I'm proud with these guys is this unselfishness too, that they've put all that kind of that stuff aside for now, and they just go play ball, and they love having fun doing it, and they understand too, and I try to as best I can communicate to them and say, hey, listen, the better you play and the better we do as a team, then you'll get what's coming to you maybe at the end of the season, or if it's not here, it's rewarded somewhere else. So we just got to stay, task at hand and continue to show what we've done in the last couple of weeks.
Doug, the history of running backs, LeGarrett's age, 30, 31, 32, is not a great one. What has he shown you as far as his level of play? What did you know about him coming in, and what surprised you about him?
Well, obviously, I didn't know him personally, until he came, just what I've seen on film, and loved his style of running, obviously, and part of the reason why he's here. And then once you get to know him, and you just, from the beginning of the season to now, there's been really great improvement with him. You're seeing him explosive through the hole. You're seeing him pull away from runners. He feels fresh. He's he understands that it's a role. It's a role player, and probably limited touches, but it's the longevity of guys like that. Same way we do with the Jason Peters and the Brent Sellecks and Malcolm Jenkins and guys like that who we can give some rest to and in training camp and things like that. So he's done a great job. It seems like he's getting better each week too.
What day do you practice red zone during the week typically?
Friday.
Has that always been? I mean, I guess since going back to Green Bay, has that always been the practice schedule for you? And was that at other places as well? Yeah,
I can remember back when I was a player in Green Bay under Mike Holmgren, we actually did a little bit of red zone on a Thursday, and I actually do that now. I do just 3 plays. Finish the day with three plays, one offense versus one defense in the red zone now. I script the situation and scenario, and the coordinators just call it accordingly. But Friday is our main day.
Do you find that you spend more time in the red zone than other coaches that you've worked under?
Not really. We keep. There's 3 main aspects to a game plan. There's your first and second down plan, which is today. Then you have your third down plan, which is tomorrow, and then your red zone plan, which is Friday. So, we spend, and the way Frank Reich sort of assigns duties or responsibilities to that is with the assistant coaches, and Frank and myself do the base. Frank and myself and Mike Groh will spend time on third down, and then Frank and myself and DeFilippo will attack the red zone, later on. So our guys are studying those areas during the week and have a really good plan.
So 5 weeks into the season, are there plans to practice different things?
Not right now. He's still, obviously still doing well with his rehab. He's getting better there, and again, don't want to rush him back just yet.
If the Cowboys lose on Thursday night, you all have Clemson division. Is that something you even care about at this point? Do we celebrate with the team in any way if you do Clemson division?
Obviously it's one of our goals, to win the NFC East. But the bigger message is you'd love to. You're still playing and fighting for home field. You're fighting for that first round bye if possible. I mean, there's a lot of things that you're still playing for, even though you've checked the box for your first goal. it's great, love it, but the Eagles have also won a bunch of NFC East titles here too, so we're proud of it. You know, it's a tribute, obviously, to the players, but there's something bigger out there that we strive for.
Doug, how have you found Jim Schwartz to be versus kind of his reputation coming in?
Wow, I mean, he's been wonderful to work with. You know, it's sort of that security blanket for me to kind of turn that defense over, and I just know his reputation of being a defensive coordinator in this league and the types of defenses he's had, and the, top 5, top 3, when he was even back in Tennessee, in those days, and had some great players and great defenses, and it's kind of been a special thing there too, having him there and what he's done with the defense, and just glad he's a part of what we're doing.
A couple months ago, you guys plugged in Wisniewski at left guard, and it seems like everything's been really smooth. How much of a luxury was that to have a veteran like that to be able to pop in that spot and not miss a beat?
It's a comfort, It's a obviously he's a veteran player. He's played a lot of games, obviously, in this league, and for him and Isaac earlier in the year and Chance a little bit, and now Stefan's kind of settled into that spot. He's playing well, and it just solidifies your offensive line.
So how's it going against a coach who, you saw it firsthand last year, not afraid of the trick play? How does that change or make more difficult game planning against him?
Well, it's just your awareness. Going into it, you understand that he can pull that at any time. And on a special teams play, and even offensively and defensively, and really offensively too. You'll see a trick play. They hit one against us last year. Obviously, and so we've got to be ready. Our antenna has to be up, and just going in, knowing and showing our players these plays and having them prepared, and they have to buy into the plan, and obviously ownership in their job. This week.
Doug, one more on LeGarrette. We've talked a lot about the unselfishness in the running back room. How much of that do you think LeGarrette sets the tone for that, being the one kind of veteran guy in that group?
Yeah, I think it's everything. Obviously, Deuce kind of rallies the guys and kind of sets the tone, but LeGarrette's the guy that starts the game for us, and he does set the tone, and it's the way he's been practicing these last few weeks, and and then it funnels down to Jay, and it's a new role for Jay too. He's not the guy, so to speak, but he's fit in well. And then Corey and Kenyon and Wendell. So all the guys have really bought into that and contribute tremendously to the plan and to the win on Sunday.
First year of having a lot of success and everything. Is there something you can kind of learn from the Seahawks as far as how they've been able to maintain it over the past 6-7 years, something like that?
Yeah, and obviously, I think it starts at the top. I mean, you see what they've done, how they've built their roster, obviously, and it's something that every team strives to do, and that's why Howie and Joe Douglas and the guys are constantly looking, and we're trying to add talent and acquire talent through whether it be free agency or the draft, and one of the things that they've had success in is through free agency, and guys that are undrafted, and not saying that's the right fit for everybody, but at the same time they've been able to make that work, and I think too the coaching staff, there's not a ton of turnover there. You might get a coordinator that leaves here and there, but Darryl Bevel on offense, who actually was one of my coaches in Green Bay, has been there now for several years. So that continuity, and then of course they went out and drafted a quarterback, and then acquired the talent around him. So, and then you're seeing the same thing over time. You're seeing the same thing with the defense and some of the things in the players they've drafted and brought in, and just keep teaching and keep coaching and keeping those guys together has really made that team, that organization. There's no surprise the success that they've had.
On that note, a couple of your veteran players, Malcolm and LeGarrette, said, it's not going to cut it to fumble 4 times, have 11 penalties against some of these better teams, and that's going to be a point of emphasis this week. What's the message from you and the coaching staff on that issue?
That's exactly right. I wanted to make sure that they understood not only the positive that came out of this past game and these past few weeks, but at the same time, as we go down the stretch and we get into these playoff-type atmosphere football games, particularly this week, that on the road that we have to take care of the football. You can't fumble it 4 times and give it up 3, and penalties. Penalties at this stadium are gonna hurt you. It hurt us last year. You can't do it. So it's definitely an awareness. I don't want to beat them over the head with it, but at the same time, I have to address it and make sure that they're aware of what they're getting into, and it's unacceptable to play that way.
What makes Hawks have lost a couple of home games recently? What do you warn them about not getting caught up in the fact that the Seahawks are vulnerable there and that there is a long-term mystique about playing in that stadium? Yeah,
it's still a good defense. When I say defense, they've lost some key players over there, and still an aggressive front. Linebackers, I think, are. This is again, I thought Carolina's backers were extremely good. These guys are extremely good, and it's a great set of challenges for our offense. And then, everything runs through their quarterback, and he makes it go, and they feed off of that. His energy and how well he plays and some of the plays that he makes, they feed off of that. And this is obviously you got the crowd noise, and it's a great atmosphere. And again, it's going to be a playoff type atmosphere. So our guys have to have a good week of practice and prepare. For that.
What about Seattle's quarterback on defense? What is it about Earl Thomas that makes him one of the best safeties in the NFL?
I tell you, this guy, he studies the opponent. He studies it. You see it on film. He's flying around. He anticipates. He's back there just kind of knowing. He knows route combinations. He's at the line of scrimmage a lot, making tackles for losses, and you really have to be aware of where he's at and where he lines up, and Carson has to do a great job with his eyes this week, but that guy's, he's taken over that leadership role, with Richard out and Cam out. I mean, these guys are, they're feeding off of him now.
What kind of structure do you have in place to ensure that the 9-day West Coast trip, that the guys stay on point locked in?
Message is still the same. We just got to focus on 1 week, 1 game at a time. We'll take care of next week. And, I've addressed, with the team that we're staying out there and all that kind of stuff. But it's my job to make sure that they stay focused on Seattle. And we got to take care of business, against a good football team. And keep it simple that way.
As a quick follow-up on the secondary, how's game planning different for Seattle than past years?
Yeah, it's they're structurally they're still the same. It's the same defense, same scheme. Obviously, it's a great loss to have those 2 players not there. They're tremendous leaders, obviously, on that football team and on that defense. And obviously, people, other teams. Richard Sherman's one of the top corners in this league, and tend to go the other way, away from him. But you still game plan the same, and you still try to put our players in positions to be successful. And it just comes down to execution, and we've got to handle that this week.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.